reacted to me.
You really have no idea what it was.
Did your husband contact you at any point while he was away?
No.
It was his decision to go in.
Why did my husband volunteer for a suicide mission? You have to tell me where he was, what he was doing. I need to know what's inside. I could save him.
So congratulations on Annihilation.
Thank you.
It's a beautiful collision between something that's very cerebral and something that's very visceral. I'm wondering if you could talk about your own response to the source material and how film can sort of uniquely do this. It can give us scares, but it can also make us think.
Well, first off, I'm really glad you said that, because that was exactly what we were shooting for. The thing that drew me to the source material was that Jeff had written an original story, and most stories are not original. They're retellings of other stories, which we repeat as a sort of ritual. And but the thing that made me really want to do it was the atmosphere, and that in some ways the act of reading the book was like having a dream, and that was what I felt I wanted to replicate. And in the way a dream can have a kind of internal coherence and also cling with you was the quality. So if you and me were having a dream now, right, so we're in a sort of mini knocked up TV studio, but it's in a hotel room and there's a TV over there, and in the dream, if that was a television one moment and then it was your grandmother and then it was a vase of flowers, you wouldn't be looking around saying what the hell's going on. It has a kind of dream sense, a sort of internal consistency. So it's something about that quality, and also the way, if you have a particular kind of dream which is powerful in a certain kind of way, it just stays. It sort of permeates through the day, and that we wanted to sort of create that as well.
In some ways, this very much is a sister film to Ex Machina, both dealing with the dynamic, not only gender dynamic and personal dynamic, but in terms of the way of what we accept, what our identity is. I'm just wondering for you, whether or not you actually see these films, not only twinning, but your own work stuff, the scripts that you've written, do you see this as part of a greater work?
To me, often what I feel like I'm doing is pushing back against the thing I just did. So say a few years ago, made this movie, Never Let Me Go, sort of sad, introverted, little clockwork movie. The film after that was Dread, which is a nihilistic, violent, druggy movie. And then after Dread is Ex Machina, which is contained again and thoughtful and has a funny kind of Zen vibe. And then Annihilation, which is hallucinogenic and sprawling and visceral. If there's a commonality, what I'd like it to be is a kind of thoughtfulness. That it's not viscerality or anything really for the sake of something. It's all in service of a thought through set of themes, and it has a kind of thesis, if anybody wants to access it.
That's demanding of an audience that might not always be up there with you to actually take the viscerality. Is there one way that we can actually get into that is with incredible performances, this ensemble that actually allows us to actually embrace that cerebral nature of this?
I think that broadly we underestimate audiences. I really, really do. And I think that one of the things, in particular, I think the film industry underestimates audiences, and I think that one of the things that's been happening is that television has been demonstrating that audiences are capable of much more thought and much more moral complexity than cinema has been giving them credit for a long, long time. But yes, ultimately, the vehicle for everything that happens ends up being, in a primary way, a relationship between the actors and the director of photography. And so what the actors are doing and how that's being captured. Of course, there's all sorts of other people in the support structure, and crucially that then is handed over to the edit. But you need to get actors who are on board and get it in order for it to work.
And just finally, talk about working again with Oscar Isaac and the 5 remarkable women that you bring to this stage.
Well, Oscar is someone who I would always work with if I had the chance, because I don't think there's anyone better. I think that you might have other actors at the same level, but past a certain point, when you reach that level, it's meaningless to say who's better than X or Y. They're just very, very good, and that's the zone Oscar's in. Most of the cast was old-fashioned casting. I'd sit in a room, people would come in, they'd read scenes, and every now and then someone would just blow you away. Tessa Thompson came in, she just spoke so intelligently, and then her reading was so beautiful. You just thought, done, great.
Natalie?
Natalie, of course, was not sitting in a room doing casting. That was different. With Natalie, it was because she could be, I'd seen this before, she could be super controlled and super damaged, and she could bring the two things together and kind of overlay them and separate them and bring them back, and it was that particular quality, really.
Is there one film that you echo in this film we might not notice?
Stalker, maybe, but I think film fans would notice it. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Oh,
Congratulations.
Cheers.
It's destroying everything.
It's not destroying. It's making something new.